When we ask families if they're familiar with adult family homes, we get either a no, a yes, or a yes, and they don't trust them. I'm your host, Valerie Borgman, and today we are going to take a look at adult family homes, why some families don't like them, and some families love them, including me. Welcome to Desperately Seeking Senior Living, a podcast for sons, daughters, grandkids, and spouses who suddenly find themselves tangled in the search for senior living and care. If you like today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and check out our doable download in today's show notes for a printable summary of the show and a bonus tip from our guest. You're listening to our doable tips, short answers to your questions. Don't see your question listed? Send us a note. Then don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an answer. Hi, and welcome to the show. I'm really excited to talk more in depth about adult family homes this week. We've had several episodes about them, and I'll put a link to a couple of them in show notes. So this week, we're going to take a look at what adult family homes are, why some families have never heard of them, those that love them, hate them, and why. Let's start with those listeners who have no idea what I'm talking about. What are adult family homes or care homes, also known as residential care homes? Well, they're homes just like your home or mine. They differ as much as any two homes can. There are the Cadillac of adult family homes, or I guess these days would it be the Tesla? And some are more modest. They're more like the Honda Fit of homes. And no disrespect to Honda Fit owners, I had one myself. They're usually a max of 6 to 12 residents. Some have all private rooms, some have shared rooms. And so picture your house with a few extra bedrooms, and that could be an adult family home. And if you haven't heard of them before, part of the reason could be that not all states have them. And for those that do, they're kind of relatively new compared to assisted living communities. Some are run by nurses and doctors. They are regulated by the state. They have inspections, regulations, and rules that they have to follow, just like communities. Some are able to provide a very high level of care, and in some cases, higher than some communities. And others choose to accommodate those with lighter care needs. Most have visiting doctors and medical services, such as a visiting dentist or podiatrist, and mobile labs. They have individual activity programs. Some have transportation and do outings. Most provide personalized home cooked meals. Some have pets. And some providers or owners live in the home. Now, not actually with the residents, of course, but picture the residents on the main floor and the provider and their family members living upstairs. So this can actually provide an intergenerational experience with the provider's children visiting the residents. So let's talk about why families love adult family homes and why we do too. The biggest reason is the highly personalized setting and experience. Because they have fewer residents, the staff really gets to know them, and you really get to know the staff. Here are some experiences families we've worked with have had with adult family homes. We got to know everyone so well, from the care staff to the provider. They felt like family. They realized that when dad started wandering and trying to open doors, he was looking for the bathroom. They got to know exactly when mom needed to use the restroom, so she didn't have to go in her Depends. Mom had been over-medicated to control her behaviors. Within weeks, the home completely adjusted her medications so that she can communicate with us again. They were able to do exercises with dad when he was ready to do them, when he was in a good mood. If he refused, they just tried again in an hour. They made the food that my mom likes. Dad had Alzheimer's. He was a builder and built his own home. We were so nervous about moving him into an adult family home, but it worked out great. He actually thought that he had built the house we moved him to. The hospital wanted to give my husband a feeding tube because he stopped eating. He was also refusing to walk. Within the first week at his new home, he was cleaning his plate and walking to the table. Now, We don't live in any of the homes we connect families with, but we hear from families all the time about how happy they are about the transition. I believe that there's a good fit for everyone, and some folks may be a better fit for a community. But if there are adult family or residential care homes in your area, I definitely encourage you to check them out. So, now that we've talked about the good stuff, why is it that some families don't like adult family homes? Well, some simply aren't familiar with the care they can provide, and it just seems strange to think about it being a house. One of our clients was the executive director at a senior living community for years. He had worked in the industry for over 20 years. And when we first met, the very first thing he said to me was no adult family homes. His wife had had a stroke, and I knew her care needs were a very good fit for the adult family home setting. I was able to convince him to just take a look, and he ended up choosing the very first home we looked at. He didn't even want to see another option. He was so happy that his wife was able to live out the last years of her life in that setting. Some families have unfortunately had bad experiences with adult family homes. And the truth is, there are good and bad homes, as well as good and bad communities. And this is why we work so hard to screen the ones that we recommend. And we always tell families to go with their gut. It's what we do too. If something doesn't feel right, walk away, find another option, or as hard as it can be, you may have to move. Whatever your decision, if you have these homes in your state, take a look. It might be the perfect fit. Today's episode is brought to you by ClearPath Senior Living Solutions. ClearPath helps families find assisted living, memory care, and other resources. Find our contact information in today's show notes. Check out this episode's doable download in show notes for details, including industry terms and definitions we discussed, as well as a bonus tip from our guest. Have questions or your own tips to share? Leave us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, make it doable.